Hey guys, it's Julie, and I just filmed kind of an explanation of the creative journal I'm going to be using for 2026, and I wanted to just bring you along while I did a little bit of setting up. I just want to encourage you to dive in and just start a little journal. Start with whatever you have. It doesn't have to be fancy, and if you find yourself enjoying the practice, you can upgrade to a bigger size, to a thicker paper, whatever you want. I would just highly encourage you to jump in and to just start. And even though, I'll admit, I practiced on a piece of paper that I had accidentally ripped, I thought, oh, let me just kind of start practicing how I might want to lay out my pages, and I practiced on a ripped page here. I'm going to dive in right now. So dive in with me. I would love for you guys to join me this year in 2026 and just make creative journaling a practice for yourself. If you have creative supplies on hand that maybe you have hoarded or that you have ended up collecting and not using, dig them out and put them to use. I happen to have just recently subscribed to a couple of kits, and I'm going to mix and match an Archer and Olive quarterly sub kit and a Cocoa Daisy January kit that I just think the colors are beautiful and the things are beautiful. It inspires me. So I'm really itching to get in here, and I would love for you to join me. So I'm going to grab 2 sheets out of here. I have taken apart an Archer and Olive book, if you saw in my last video, and I have put them on discs. I love to work outside of books. It has worked for me the last couple of years. I have disc punched my Hemlock and Oaks, and I have really enjoyed that. So I just feel like that's something I know about myself. I like to work on a flat surface, especially because I like to stamp, and it's already hard enough. I still get messes when I stamp on flat surfaces, let alone trying to kind of work around a binding or anything else. So I'm going to end up recreating this 2026. It's so simple. It's not hard at all. And I may add a little bit of something on there. It'd be kind of cute. But I'm going to start with that for you guys, and then I'm going to redo this kind of and just show you how I did it in the first place and the supplies that I used. This month I am trying to limit myself to a few stamps. We will see how that goes. These are a lot of Kerri Bradford stamps that I use. This is called Outnumbered one, XL. I love the kind of font on that. So I'm going to grab those. And I believe I just did those in this Misty Coast. I think I did that. And we're going to go ahead and do this. 2026. Just get it nice and inked up. I am going to pull out a mouse pad just for fun. And we're kind of leaning this one ever so slightly to the left because I have that little envelope from the Coffee Monster Co. So that's why I am not like perfectly centering it. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. Like the whole point of stamping, like if I wanted this to be perfect, then I would go on Canva and I would digitally design it, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to remind you and remind myself every time, like when a stamp is a little crooked or it's not inked up perfectly, like that's kind of the point. You know, it is stamping. I'm comfortable working in a fair amount of mess. If that bothers you, I'm really sorry. I noticed some of you like keep the most tidy surfaces while you're working. I think Hey Marsha makes and Hibba. You guys are like so tidy, and I'm over here just like messy. I do use baby wipes. I know it's not ideal for stamps, but I use the Honest baby wipes, which I'm just hoping that that means something, that like maybe they're not as harsh with chemicals or whatever. But I do use those. Just replace them every once in a while when they get really messy. So you guys, that's simple, 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 and that's done. And I may come back. Here's the deal though. Right now I'm really tempted to add in some of these January elements from like my Cocoa Daisy kits. I'm tempted, but I'm not using that all year, and this is going to be something I look at all year. So I'm going to leave this as simple as possible for right now because I just don't want to add anything else. I want for it to remain really simple. Okay, so that's done, and you can see what I'm talking about. I kept it slightly over to the left because of that. Otherwise, I would have put it right in the smack dab middle. But to me, that's visible. I can see it. I like it. Okay, I'm sneaking in this little example. This is what I created in a B6 planner last year, but I didn't end up using. So I'm super excited to recreate it. I love the concept, you know, kind of business on the right, party on the left. And I'm going to pull out my Kerri Bradford stamp. This one is called Time Squared. Clever. And I'll just start working away at that January calendar. I'm going to zoom you guys through this a little bit quicker just because it's kind of boring and because It's not perfect. You know, if you looked really close, there's not even space between these, but it absolutely serves its purpose. And I think once the entire page is complete, I don't notice any of that. Don't get yourself too hung up on the little details in projects like this, because I think that it can ruin the fun. And obviously, I cannot be bothered to do that. So get my month stamped out, and we're going to be good to go here in just a sec. Next up, we are grabbing Kerri Bradford's Overtime stamp set. This is another really great classic to have on hand, and I'm just going to pull out the days of the week to add those up to the top of my calendar. I love the simple font on these. These also are fantastic for like a daily journaling if you want to come through and add your dates. I did that last year here in my middle pages of my Art Estelle. I'll kind of show you a peek at that, how I broke each day into a section with these stamps. And then to complete the calendar, I'm just going to come through with this gorgeous Glacier ink. It's from Catherine Pooler, and I'm going to stamp out January. This is from a set called By the Month from Kerri Bradford. Again, I love that she gives these sets because they're things that I would use over and over. So as I purchase stamp sets, I try not to get too sucked into like, oh, that's a one cute thing that I might use once in a blue moon. But like, I definitely tend to purchase the stamps that are like, I will use that over and over. It's kind of evergreen, I would say. Like you can use a January stamp for years and it's gonna just continue to be applicable. So I do love that about a lot of her sets. Just gonna add a quick swipe here with my Tombow N89 and the calendar is done. For the record, I do not get a commission off of like sharing Kerri's stamps. I feel like I need to say that because I'm clearly like a broken record showing you stamp set after stamp set. But she just released these small outline, Max Outline. I have the larger Max Outline and I absolutely love them. So of course I had to buy the smaller ones as they came out. And I'm just starting here to recreate that little start for January. So I'm working backwards. I do that a lot, kind of like I pick where I want the word to end up, then I spell backwards. It causes problems sometimes. Like I definitely make mistakes and misspell a word when you're going backwards. It's not always easy, but I managed to get a simple word like this done and no big deal. This next stamp set is from the January scrapbooking kit from Coco Daisy's Wisdom and Wonder, and I thought it was just a cute little shape that would nestle up into that S. I'm always looking for ways to pair stamps and to just kind of like find the little curves that they can fit into. I don't know. It's just like my latest obsession. So this one nestled right up into that. And even though I have an example that I'm kind of working off, I still spend a little time fussing on this just to get it in the right position and nail it down there. I think I saw a post somewhere and Coco Daisy was just asking, you know, like, which washi do you think you'll get the most use of this month? And of course I was like, oh my gosh, the plain little strip, the narrow one. It's like the most boring, but I swear I love it. I feel like, again, I just gravitate towards those things that are evergreen that you can use over and over. Like this neutral color will go with so many things. I prefer that to something that's, you know, really kit specific, like a blue flower that I might use once in, you know, 1 month and then really never pull out again. I don't know. I'm a little crazy like that. So all that to say is here's use number 1 of this washi, and I have already put it to use in my planner as well. You guys will see that in a little while. But I do love myself a simple washi, and here's where I put it to work on this page. And just in case we forgot what month it is, or we're unable to see on the page next to this, I am going to come through and stamp out January again. But this is kind of a message, you know, it's like start January. I'm wanting to cluster that in there. And I love the way this is turning out. And I really like these blues. And I don't hardly ever use blue. I gravitate towards bright colors typically. So it's really fun to pull out some of these different hues that I'm not used to working with and put them to work this month. Here's where I'm going to do some invisible stamping. I say that as a joke, but it kind of is. It's like I can see it barely, but it does just give a tiny little presence. So what I feel like is missing here is a vertical presence. I have a lot of horizontal, like the January, the start, everything. The washi is all that horizontal. So here I just come through and kind of want to crisscross it with something, but I'm obviously nervous to go too bold. So I pick that Misty Coast color from Fresh Pink Studio. Super light, you know, like I'm not kidding, it's barely visible, but it's just like the perfect accent for me. Any darker might have brought too much attention, so I'm cool with how it turned out. Any guesses on the stamp? Oh my gosh, it's another Kerri Bradford. This one is called Along Those Lines, and I'm just trying to show you guys each of these stamps, but I use this one a ton, so I wanted to mention that. Another little favorite trick I picked up, I think I saw Hiba doing this, maybe Tracy Revel, just adding these little sprinkles just kind of helps I don't know, bring a little bit of life to these. Otherwise, everything can kind of just look so flat and stagnant when you're dealing with stamping. And I don't do a ton of like physical layering. I don't add chipboard or anything to my pages per se. So coming through with just some different color little sprinkles and stars or whatever shapes I can find. I actually have a little dish of them on my desk that hold my tiniest little stamps. I don't even know what sets they necessarily came from because I've pulled them off the original sets and just have them sitting on my desk. But they're just kind of fun to come through, and you'll see me do that throughout the month probably. And I need to wash them, and they're so little I'm afraid to wash them, but I do need to because you can see they're not quite as sticky. And I almost lost one there on my wet wipe. Okay, this next moment is kind of serendipitous because in my mind the whole time I was talking about, in the beginning I'm like, just start with me for January, just start January, just start fresh. And I was thinking that this would be perfect, but once I lay this down, I feel like that fresh is so dark and it's so bold, and I'm like, oh, hold on, no, that's not quite what I want. So you're gonna see, I lay it down, and then I'm going to pull it back up. And here is my greatest moment of vulnerability. I do not like my hand lettering. I don't like the way I write with markers, but I felt like it was yes, this is what I needed. I need to just start. I need to just put things down. I need to not freak out about what they look like. So I am kind of slowing that one down for you guys to just see this is it. This is me putting into practice what I'm telling you guys to do. And then just a quick shot of the N65. That's the color I used to write it. I get these calendar stickers from the Planner Spot, and I wanted to slap one down here. I did it last year in a different way, but I literally slap it down here, and I'm not entirely convinced that that was the best location for it. I feel like from this point on, I kind of am scrambling, oh my goodness, now what, now what, now what? And so again, though, you guys, I cannot emphasize it enough that just slap stuff down. It'll be fine. And even if everything doesn't work out perfectly and it's not super balanced or symmetrical, who cares? Get over it. I know that sounds a little harsh, but just know that I am 100% talking to myself as well as you. Okay, the next portion of this video is me just fussing around and trying to place some flowers, some stickers. I am so excited to use this kit, you guys, and I am trying all the things. So you may see this one come, this one go. And ultimately, there's no right answer. I think that any of these combinations could have worked perfectly. I think that there's part of me that's oh gosh, no, save that for another page. And then there's a few moments where I'm oh, it's a little big for the scale. I have a whole month, though, that I'm going to just kind of try to sprinkle these things out, a few of those pieces. I feel like the first one I grabbed, honestly, it finds a home in my planner, so I'm cool with that. I do end up using this little postage stamp looking washi tape from the Stationery kit. This is so cute, and I don't know, I have a lot of ideas for how I want to use that throughout my pages. So we'll see how much I can sprinkle in this month, but this page kind of gives us a start. It kind of sets the tone for what can be expected in the days ahead. And I mean, I'm not used to working with these, I feel like they're maybe mature colors. I think that sometimes I end up just being a little bit more crazy and rainbowish. So this will be a really fun challenge this month. I'm really looking forward to it. And here's kind of how the page ended up finalizing. And I think it's really fun. And like I said, it sets a really great tone. If you enjoyed this video and want to follow me along, please do by making sure you've subscribed. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. And also, if you're interested, hop over to my Facebook group. We have some people who've already started in there, kind of committing towards a creative journal this season. And it doesn't mean that you have to do a page every day. It means that you're just yeah, I want to dip my toes in this. I want to get going. And I want to be there to kind of help encourage you guys. So I hopefully will be adding at least some weekly prompts, probably not daily because that would be a little bit aggressive. But yeah, hop over if you're interested, and thank you to the ladies who've joined in. Love that some of you are just jumping in and sharing where you're at. I really appreciate your activity, and it just gets everyone a little bit more excited the more we have kind of working together. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you at the next video. Until then, take care.